asked me if I had any PPT or any presentations or any slides to be shown. I said, imagine if I had got that presentation with 10 or 20 beautiful food items or dishes on the screen, nobody would have looked at me. So thank you, no presentations. I'm here to talk to you. Thank you. The very idea of contemplating a world without boundaries and not including food in there would have been blasphemous for me. You see, food for us is next to religion. But I think in India, it might be the second unofficial religion. I know we are a secular country, we do not have an official religion, so to speak of. But am I right when I say that cricket is our first unofficial religion? Food happens to be the second. What is happening? Alright, before I go any further, I want all of you to close your eyes and try to imagine a list that I am going to read out. So my list says, go ahead, close your eyes. Try to imagine this. So you have a pan panna cotta, a cinnamon and caramel firni, chili paneer sandwich, paneer tikka panini, green tea creme brulee, tulsi mousse. Does that sound to you like a menu from a lunch buffet in Alice's Wonderland? Believe me, it is all very real, it is all being done over here. If you've noticed, all the names that I read out in my list had very Indian flavors to them, but the concepts, all the dishes that I talked about, the mousse or the panini, which is an Italian sandwich, or the chai latte, they're all very, very international in their concept. So, what is happening right now is that we are experiencing a revolution in our kitchens. It's a silent revolution which is displacing boundaries and combining flavors from the different parts of the world, bringing them together on our plate. And this revolution, I would say, is the result of some enterprising chefs who are displacing boundaries, who are trying to think out of the box and create something new. When we talk about food, the nouvelle cuisine, there are two things we talk about. There's the global cuisine and then there is the fusion cuisine. When I talk about global cuisine, I mean food from all across the globe. And when I talk about fusion cuisine, I talk about the coming together of flavors from two different parts of the world together on one plate. Like the list that I read out. The cinnamon and caramel firni happens to be my own signature dish, which I have presented before the Maharana of Udaipur during my MasterChef journey. So the idea is to surprise your palate, to make it feel, oh wow, that wow factor should be there in the food. Many, as I said, chefs are doing that. And our palettes and plates are increasing today. The plates increasing in terms of the flavors we are adding onto our plates. And we are experimenting more and more with food, trying to experiment, trying to get food from here, from there. So what has happened is specialty cuisine restaurants like a Japanese restaurant or maybe a Mexican restaurant is now stepping out of a 5-star hotel and coming as a standalone property out in the market, not just in the metros, mind you, but in smaller towns and cities as well. Can you imagine a German bakery in Manali or a Korean tourist getting Korean food or Mexican food right outside Ram Mandir in Orsha, or for that matter the German bakery right here in your own city, Varanasi? What is this an indicative of? This is an indicative of the coming together of various flavors of the world together in one place. This invasion of food is not sudden, it's always been there. If I talk about our own basic cuisine, the Indian cuisine, Of course, there is no one term as Indian cuisine. Our own cuisine is a beautiful combination, it's a lovely bouquet of many local culinary traditions. So if we talk about that, you will discover that we have footprints of the colonial coming reflected in our cuisine. So you've got the English influence, you've got the German influence, you've got the French, the Portuguese is very, very clear before us, and the Dutch influence as well over our food. By the way, did you know that tomatoes, without which today we cannot even imagine cooking in our kitchen, were brought to us by the end of the 18th century by the Portuguese? No, tomatoes are not native to Indian food. Can you imagine butter chicken not there being on a menu in a restaurant? No. There you see. So food has always been traveling from here to there. India, known as the spice land, we've been spending spices across the globe, and we've been importing their food ideas as well. The famous war between the Chinese and the Italian as to who invented the noodles. The Chinese claimed that the noodles were carried by the travelers to Italy, and the Italians have been trying to prove that it was there existing in the days of Caesar as well. So what I am trying to say is that if anything has been actually traveling across boundaries without creating a furore or without creating a booming impact, it is food. The impact has been very, very subtle and slow, but yet, yes, it has been there. We Indians are very, very enterprising in terms of our palates as well. We are ready to experiment, we are ready to do so many things with our food. So what we've done is, we've adopted the Chinese food as our own. You all know that. We've got something called the Indo-Chinese, which is nowhere near the real Chinese at all. So just like the Americans have their claim to fame with the American chopstick, we have our claim to fame with gobi Manchurian, the chili paneer, and the honey chili potatoes. By the way, did you know that today Indians are consuming far more pasta annually than the Italians themselves do? Yes, till a few years ago we did not eat pasta, but that's what is happening today. So that's what I'm trying to tell you. Food is breaking all boundaries, it is breaking all barriers, and just like we are accepting foreign food in our country so easily, so is the reach of the Indian food as well. I have been to New York, I've been to UK, and when I went and tried to discover what was happening in the Indian restaurants over there, I discovered that during lunch hours, they were full of goras and not desis. You know, that speaks for the reach our Indian food has. In fact, I was in Hague and I told my friend, I don't think you have an Indian restaurant over here. He said, now that you think about it, I haven't seen one. So we decided we are going to search for one. And when we reached the beach, we found Kohinoor restaurant. I said, there you have. You cannot but have an Indian restaurant anywhere in the world. So it's everywhere. UK's passion for curries and the butter chicken masala and the balti chicken is known to everybody. In fact, the greatest passion for men these days, or the in thing or the manly thing to do, is to go out for curries and beer. So such is the influence of the thick oil layered Indian food that the UK government is actually very worried about the rise of obesity in the, yes, it is, in the South Asian community. 1 out of every 4 persons is turning out to be obese. And last year I was invited by the Cambridge University and the Medical Research Council of UK for a series of workshops to demonstrate, hey please, Indian food can be very, very healthy as well. So there are a few myths we are trying to break, some new concepts we are trying to create, trying to bring so many things on our plate, trying to show to the world what we have. And as I said, this revolution is a very silent revolution and does not create a bang or a boom, but still influences people and their lives. If you go to a supermarket anywhere in the world, just like a Chinese takeaway, you will find an Indian takeaway packed menu as well. And even ready-made rotis. And if you ask for mooli in UK, you will get mooli. So you see, the term is not radish over there. People will give it to you as moolis. So what I'm trying to say, we are all experiencing a coming together of various flavors, a combining of flavors, a subtle way in which it is invading our lives, but enriching it definitely. And oh yes, it happens. If you can have your technical glitches, so can I. Invite you to be a part of this revolution. I have friends in UK and US who are now promoting culinary tourism. They get groups from abroad to India and bring them here to sample Indian food in its own environment and to see for themselves what it really is like. So the term culinary tourism or food tourism is definitely coming in. It's the new thing, believe me. And so what I am going to ask you to do is, the next time you go out, please deviate from your usual, deviate from the norm, deviate from your favorite pizza or pasta and move on to something new. One of my vegetarian friends was pleasantly surprised when she got to eat vegetarian sushi. So she said, I had vegetarian sushi. I said, sushi, that too vegetarian? She said, yes. And it was rolled out in spinach leaves instead of nori sheets and had basmati rice instead. So you see the very Indianization of the whole concept. You do have things like this, where ideas are being combined, where flavors are being combined. So I am asking you to go out, try something new, and to try and influence the person sitting next to you to also try something new. Why do you think Pizza Hut has on its menu in India the Kadhai chicken pizza? Do they have it there in the US? No. So what are they trying to do? They are trying to bring their flavors, the basic pizza, and trying to make it more adaptable to the Indian palate by giving it a very Indian flavor. The taco pizza that you get in the US, what is it? It's Tex-Mex cuisine. What is Tex-Mex? That is the Texan and the Mexican cuisine mixed together. The word taco itself tells you it's Mexican, but imagine a taco pizza, which means a pizza which has all the dressings of a taco. So, if you ask me, what is it that is going to bind the world together? One thing that is going to displace boundaries. No, my dear, it's not going to be an economic revolution. No, my dear, it's not going to be a political revolution. It's definitely going to be a food revolution.